Mikaela Reed was 16 when her father passed away. She would always miss his sailing lessons at dawn, his colorful yet inedible tacos, and his warm, contagious laughter. She felt like she was paddling in a vast storm-black ocean, each rolling wave submerging her, drifting in painful darkness. She almost lost herself, but resiliently, with love and care, she made her way back to the shore. Well surrounded and supported by her friends, Mikaela put the past behind her and looked at life in a new light. She was excited to see new things and discovered storytelling as an outlet. That's awesome. I love that. Her friends liked her stories of daunting danger and hard earned survival. She read horror stories more and more, savoring the powerful, heart pounding escapism it provided. Um, Autumn, woo! Autumn became her favorite season, and she threw a grand production for Halloween every year, hosting all her friends for a thrilling night of horror stories, scary games, and homemade treats. Over the years, she also showed interest in witchcraft and practiced light blessings, plant-based spells, and palm reading divination. She gardened sage, mugwort, and lavender to create homemade products such as body butters, soaps, and skin lotions. And that was included in the little teaser they posted. They had posted I think to their Instagram, picture of some lotions and body butters. She aspired one day to live off the products she made for friends and family. In the meantime, she worked as a barista at the Moonstone and, an independent, eccentric coffee shop in artsy part of town. What town? Where does she live? I'm just genuinely interested. Um, every Friday night, she hosted an open mic at the coffee shop, performing stories live in front of customers. Julie and her best friend, roommate, recorded some of her shows and posted them online. Also, unbeknownst to her, he submitted one of her performances to Endless Halloween Festival, where renowned storytellers performed on stage for Halloween. Oh my gosh, there's so much to it. I think we can make it through, right? It was a beautiful surprise when Mikaela received an email from the festival inviting her to perform at their grand final on Halloween. The winning prize was big enough for her to launch her line of products. Excited, she burnt a stick of herbs in each room to dissipate negative energies, then began to craft her tale of horror. Mikaela stayed up all night, filling her notebooks with abandoned beginnings. She had a story in mind, but unearthing it took patience and skill. Following night, the nightmares began for a week. She would wake in the middle of the night, gasping for air. Her dream was the same every night. She was dragged down a cold set of stairs and thrown into a dark basement. Then her lungs would be set ablaze by a sharp iron hook, stabbing her in the chest. A dark figure would pull on the hook and hoist her from the ground, slowly until the pain waked her. So somebody would save her. Excuse me. The more she finessed her Halloween tale, the darker her nightmares grew. As days, that's interesting. So she's like connecting inspiration from the entity. Seems like channeling that into her stories. Oh, visual glitch. As days passed, exhaustion, anxiety, and stress took a toll on her. Often distracted, after coffees at the Moonstone were rushed, acrid, or going to the wrong customer, she no longer blessed the coffee beans.
Beans, what the fuck?
And the leftover coffee grains. Her energy was low, and her magic felt drained. When she woke up screaming one night, she had had enough. She asked Julian to watch her while she slept and recorded anything unusual. Julian agreed and started recording while Mikaela lay on her bed. Minutes later, her fingers began to twitch, then her toes. Her breath became labored. Then Julian stared in shock as Mikaela slowly rose in the air, levitating over the bed. Panicked, he shook her shoulders to wake her, but stopped when she began to scream. He grabbed his phone to call an ambulance, but a powerful crash diverted his attention. He looked away, down the hallway and saw a large spidery fang slam through the bathroom door. I feel like they've alluded to... Oh. They've had a giant spider before in the tome. Amidst the commotion, Mikaela awoke. She... Wait. Oh, spidery fang. No, that's... He's probably just talking about the entity, like fingers. It's interesting that they describe it as a spidery fang. I think that's what it means. Right. Amidst the commotion, Mikaela awoke. She saw the black spidery fang. Yep, I think so. Black spidery fang shredding the bathroom door and jumped out of bed. She slammed her bedroom door shut, shouted at Julian to help her barricade the door. Before he could react, however, the power went out. The room was submerged in sudden darkness. And I assume she was taken at that point. A second later, the lights came back on, and an eerie quietness followed. Mikaela and Julian ventured out of the bedroom carefully. The bathroom door looked intact. Oh, that was weird. Oh, so the book is rotating here, but she's not. I think that's... A second later, the lights came back. There was no sign of anything abnormal, but Julian had recorded every sound. A sleepless night followed when she returned to the apartment after her shift. Julian was not there. Mikaela wanted him to remove the recording of their ordeal, which she had posted online. Suspecting Julian might be at school, she left. Oh. The door clicked shut behind her, masking a stifled cry from the bedroom. She neared her car. She looked over her shoulder. Mikaela felt watched. She whispered a protective spell and clutched her keys. Suddenly a shadow pounced on the wall and she broke into a run. She reached her car and rushed inside, locking the door. Breathing hard, she looked through the window. No one was there. Perhaps it was her nerves playing tricks on her. She turned on the ignition and drove off. Next day, Julian was still nowhere to be found. Mikaela had contacted everyone they knew. She looked for him all day and waited for him all night, distraught and anxious. She missed her shift at the Moonstone. Halloween was tonight, and so was the festival. Julian had entered the storytelling competition for her. She had supported her. Every time she doubted herself. Oh, okay. I misread that. My brain. Well, I read that right, but my brain put in Mikaela there, so. He had supported her every time she doubted herself. Maybe he would be there, but between her nightmares and Julian's disappearance, she had been too worried to prepare a story for the contest. Oh, damn. She looked at her notebook, filled with false starts. She could stay home, scared and sleepless, or she could finish what Julian had started. There was a reason why she loved to tell horror stories. They made her feel brave enough to face any challenge. That evening, when the host called Mikaela's name at the Endless Halloween Festival, she boldly stepped on stage dressed in a costume. Black dress matched with a wide witchy hat. No, this is not that. I don't think. This isn't a dress, so. It's a cardigan, I would say. She hoped to spot Julian in the crowd, but she could not find him, and looking directly at the audience was a mistake. A sea of expectant faces was before her, eyes watching her every move, her heart pounding in her chest as her hearts began to shake. She grabbed the warm microphone and cleared her throat. A thick silence greeted her, only interrupted by a distant cough. She reminded herself that tonight was All Hallows Eve. When the veil thinned betwixt the realm and the one beyond, she had a story in her heart. A story that mattered. If she told it right, perhaps Julian would hear it. Mikaela took a deep breath. The wet wind of autumn whirled golden leaves around her. She inhaled the acrid smell of damp foliage. She swallowed the bitter aftertaste of coffee still on her tongue. Distant crows cawed from an oak tree. She closed her eyes. The Crimson darkness under her eyelids turned darker. Her heartbeat slowed. She exhaled deeply, her breath a puff. This is so descriptive. Her breath a puff of mist in the cold night air. Now she felt awakened, refreshed for the first time in weeks, ready to tell the tale of a lifetime. She spoke in the microphone, a deep, haunted voice. She narrated a tale of billowing winds on a cold autumn night, of a loyal friend disappearing before daylight, of forgotten victims hiding in the wings of darkness, of throbbing graves sealed with terrible secrets, and of an eternal night in the shadow of death. Mikaela pointed at the night sky and said that no darkness would truly be on light. Even on the moonless night, the sky shined with long dead stars. A thick black fog engulfed Mikaela, to the audience's amazement, and no one saw Mikaela Reed again. Wow. That is quite a, what is the word? A climax. Or, I don't know. It's kind of a resolution, but I was just waiting for her to get pulled, you know? I was like, when was that going to happen? And then it happened in the second to last sentence. But, also, so she lost her father at sea. Her father passed away. Unless she made her way back to shore, unless that's all, like, it could be a metaphor because it says that she felt like she was paddling in a fast storm. Maybe he didn't die at sea. Maybe she didn't die at sea with him. Maybe he did die at sea. I don't know. That's unclear. Also, like, what happened to Julian? Maybe Julian will be a follow-up.